speech. So let me find a starting place here. I think I'll start, of course, by saying thank you to everyone for nominating me and getting me involved here and being a part of the Hall of Fame. You know, most people have come to know me through my musical achievements, but before music was part of my life, there was this entirely different focus. I had no plan to be a musician, really, until the day I saw the Saline Fiddlers in the cafeteria over at Pleasant Ridge, and I remember thinking, well, maybe I'll try that. That looks fun, you know. And I remember getting the violin in my hands, and it felt good. Like my grandfather talks about, he was a sheet metal worker in Detroit for 60 years or something, and he talks about how a hammer felt good in his hand. And the violin felt good in my hands. And it just made sense to me. Everything just felt right. And so from there was no turning back. But before that, there was really only one other thing, and that was Saline Hornet football. Now I'm going to try and pick up here where I started writing this. As I mentioned before, I wasn't always involved in music. Before music was even on my radar, there was what now feels like a whole other lifetime. I don't often think about it, but when I do, waves of nostalgia wash over me. And today, it feels like the right time to maybe reflect on some of those memories. Before I played the violin, I had 3 life goals, and my family will probably remember these. First goal was to be a Saline Hornet football player. Second one was to one day be big enough to help my dad work on the car. And the third one was to be just as famous as my dad. Growing up, it was normal to be out around town and hear people refer to my dad as Coach Phillips. In fact, that still happens to this day. People were always excited to talk to him about Saline football, and through the eyes of a young kid, I marveled at his ability to interact with people. He was always so charismatic, energetic, and smart and witty and creative, and was he ever funny? People were always drawn to his energy. They looked up to him with great admiration, and I myself admired him for that. The names I would hear around the dinner table were and still are legends in my mind. Jack, Ed, Clem, Paul, and our neighbor down the street, Sybil. Even the names of some of the players on the teams were legendary to my brother and I, names that he and I now refer to as Saline classics. Reeves, Boyden, Palmieri, Tyson, Fanning, Musson, Comfort, and of course, Ellis and Raft. I could go on and on about those days. So many great stories rooted in the culture of Saline. Football picnics at Mill Pond and coaches' family gatherings out at the Gall's house. And the smell of popcorn and hot cider on Friday night football games. And of course, I can't forget to mention one of my proudest achievements before music was even a thing for me. A 6 consecutive year run as the ball boy for the varsity football team. Really proud of that. Something feels backwards standing here, receiving this honor today. See, what I'm getting at here is, besides Neil Diamond and Anne Murray and Michael Jackson, my dad was the most famous person I could possibly imagine when I was growing up. This entire experience has been such a full circle temporal shift. It is indeed an honor to be listed among some of those legendary names in the Hall of Fame here. But to me, there's one name that is missing. My dad worked here at Saline for 14 years, during which time he served as a football coach, baseball coach, marketing teacher, co-op coordinator, special populations director, and on the Saline 2000 design team. Along with Coach Crabtree, Coach Gall, and the rest of the Saline football coaches, he helped lead the football program to what is arguably the golden era of the Saline football during the mid to late 1980s. As part of his marketing curriculum, he also founded the school store, then called This and That, or TNT, which still functions today. I think they renamed it though. It's unacceptable. He left Saline in the fall of 1992 to pursue opportunities as an administrator in other districts, but later to return to serve on the Saline School Board. During his time on the board, he played a significant role in the design and planning for this magnificent building we're standing in today. Many of his former students and players are now teachers and administrators in this district, including Scott Braden, Dave Raft, Kurt Ellis, Scott Tyson, Kevin Musson, and others. I'm not sure if being in the Hall of Fame qualifies me to nominate anybody, but if so, consider this my unofficial nomination for my dad, Coach Dave Phillips, to rightfully become a part of the Foundation for Saline Area Schools Hall of Fame. His impact on this community is monumental, and he's the most famous person I've ever known. Thank you again to the Foundation for this tremendous honor. I'd like to close by saying that the Saline community at large has one overarching quality that makes it special. It sets it apart from other districts. An unstoppable prioritization and a high value of strong community. Whether you're part of music or sports, the one thing that makes all the greatness that has come out of this town possible is the strong sense of community that thrives here. And I'm proud to have benefited from the efforts of all those who came before me. Thank you.